back to the Daily Grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Khabib Nurmagomedov vs. Edson Barboza has been confirmed for the UFC 219 co-main event, and I've gotta say, this is #1 bullshit. Why is this #1 bullshit? Not because anything wrong with this fight. This is literally going to be one of the best fights of the year. I don't give a fuck who you are. This is one of the best fights as a hardcore, if you're a fan of MMA, you can't fucking complain about Edson Barboza versus Khabib Nurmagomedov, or you're literally a bagel biting bitch boy. This is an amazing fight. It's worthy to be a main event of any other card. The only reason this is #1 bullshit is because this is UFC 219, December 30th, the UFC's end of the year pay-per-view. The UFC always likes to go out at the end of the year with a bang. You know, they try and make it one of the biggest cards of the year, and this is not even one of the top 2 biggest cards of the year as far as I'm concerned. I mean, we had UFC 214 with 3 title fights: John Jones versus Daniel Cormier, Tyron Woodley versus Damian Maia, and Chris Cyborg versus Tanya Evinger. Boom, 3 title fights, 1 card, and the other 2 fights were good too. We had UFC 217, 3 title fights: George St. Pierre versus Michael Bisping, Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Rose Namajunas, and we also had Cody Garbrandt versus TJ Dillashaw. 3 title fights. Amazing night of fights. One of the best nights of the year. Now, those are 2 stacked cards, and those all had 3 title fights. So this is supposed to be one of the most stacked cards of the year, and we've only got 1 title fight, being Chris Cyborg versus Holly Holm. And you have to put this into perspective, because we've been, you know, fed Conor McGregor versus Tony Ferguson was supposed to be on this card for a few months now. Conor McGregor's had his recent shenanigans and all the stuff he's been doing, so he was pulled from this card allegedly. His manager denied that, but Dana White and the UFC have said that Conor McGregor wasn't, you know, pretty much set on fighting at UFC 219, but now he's not going to be fighting. And with that, we also lose Tony Ferguson, because that was going to be Conor McGregor's opponent. And it doesn't make any sense for Tony Ferguson to fight anybody not named Conor McGregor, as long as he's the interim lightweight champion, unless Conor McGregor either defends or vacates, which I'm going to do a video on soon. Fucking Dana White came out and said Tony Ferguson's pretty much got no business telling Conor McGregor to defend or vacate. And I'm like, what? Are you really fucking saying that to Tony Ferguson? Is that serious? But we'll talk about that on another video. That's insane to me. But with that being said, back to this topic. Literally, I fucking just forgot the topic for a second. Oh yeah, Khabib versus Edson is the co-main event, and why this is #1 bullshit. But because we could have had Conor McGregor on this card. Whenever the UFC stacks a card without Conor McGregor, we can get fucking 3 title fights on the card. But this one not only doesn't have Conor McGregor versus Tony Ferguson, it was also, we had Dominic Cruz on this card versus Jimmy Rivera. That fight's not happening. Now, we did get a replacement for Jimmy Rivera. He's going to be fighting John Lineker, but still, we lost Dominic Cruz, we lost Conor McGregor, we lost Tony Ferguson. We only have 1 title fight. There's just a lot of reasons that this is kind of unfortunate. Now, even though this card is still going to be amazing, as far as MMA fights, this is going to be a dope fight. I'm sure everyone's still going to be watching. Not as many people, not as many casual fans, not as many crossover fans, because we, of course, you know, we don't have any of the big stars on this card. We do have Chris Cyborg versus Holly Holm. They are big stars, but I'm talking about, like, you know, pretty much I'm talking about Conor McGregor, John Jones, and Ronda Rousey. Those were the 3 UFC like fucking cash cows for a while. 2 of them aren't even around anymore, and the way it's going, Conor McGregor might not be around fucking much longer either. But still, I'm looking forward to this card. I love this card. It's just kind of lackluster when I hear that it's official. Khabib versus Edson is the co-main event, because that confirms we're only going to have one title fight. That also confirms we're not going to have, you know, Tony Ferguson on. I mean, it just confirms a lot of stuff, which, you know, I had my hopes up for this UFC 219 card, but who really gives a fuck? If you know anything about MMA, you know you really probably shouldn't get your fucking hopes up on these cards. But you just tend to think last year the UFC had Ronda Rousey at UFC 207. You know, she fought Amanda Nunes. That was huge because it's Ronda Rousey. Well, this year it's not quite the same, even though there's ties to Ronda Rousey. I'm very curious to see how this does on pay-per-views, because Chris Cyborg and Holly Holm are actually both stars. Now, are they both together combined as big of a star as Ronda Rousey? I guess we'll see with the pay-per-view numbers on this card, because they're not getting much help as far as crossover stars are concerned. I mean, they lost, as I said, Dominic Cruz, and then their co-main event's not even another title fight. So I'm very interested to see how this does on pay-per-views, just because it's going to be interesting. With that being said, it is what it is. Let the full-time family know the fuck you tap man in the comments. I'm out.
Da 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 da. It's the motherfucking D-O-double-G.